freedom. Exodus 21. I'm going to be doing 21, 22, 23. And I know a lot of times we don't like to read and have to read stuff and get understanding, but reading gives you the opportunity to really understand what's going on. And that's how things are made. If you don't read it and get understanding, a lot of things you may get off the top, but some things you really need to read. And at this point, God is letting the people, children of Israel, know some things. Exodus 21, he's telling them, you have a servant, he served 6 years. On the seventh year, he's free. Now, you say, why do I need to know that? If you're a servant, you might want to know that in the seventh year you are free. And piercing of the ear for during that time that you was a slave for life. So you need to know these things so that you know how you're being looked at and how people are perceiving you. You don't know that. You don't know your rights, and if you don't read them and get an understanding of them. Talking about violence, he said, if you kill a person, you die. So a lot of these things that we do now in this country and other countries is because it's already been written. They took out what they wanted to put in that's easy to say and do, and the hardest things, which has to do with character, they kind of left out. But God doesn't leave it out because He wants your character to be true, not just your action, but your character. They talked about things like if you curse your mom and dad, you die. In some countries, that's still true. You curse your mom and dad, you treat them bad, you die, and it's still true in some countries. They say if you have an ox that gores a person, hurts them, and you got a bad animal, you and that animal die. Why? Because you both did something wrong. And in this country, we deal with a lot of bitings and dogs getting loose and biting, and then they taking the owner to court. But back then, you didn't go to court. You got killed because you knew that animal was dangerous. It says if you hurt a woman with who's with child, that was considered like um, killing two people, and you got punished for hurting a person who was pregnant. Like I said, you need to know what the rules are so that you cannot break the rules. Exodus 22 talks about if you steal a person's animal, that's like money, that's like wealth. You have to replace it 5 times. And if you kill a thief breaking into your house, crime. And if they live, you can sell them so that you can get your money's worth of whatever they did in your home. Again, you got to know the rules. And God is giving rules to these people because they about to go into Canaan and to the Ites brothers. I call them the Ites brothers. This is the Perizzites, the Canaanites, and all these Ite brothers, and they live any type of way. So God is giving them rules along the way so when they get to where they're supposed to be, they won't hopefully do what those other people do. They said if you caught in the act in someone's field, like the vineyard, then you must make it right. You just can't take people's stuff. You gotta make it right. If you got stolen goods and you can't prove that you don't know you can't go find the person who gave you the stolen goods, guess what? You're in trouble for those stolen goods. And this one I love. If you take a woman's virginity, you got to marry her. You think that's from old school back in the hills? No, this is from the Bible. If you take a woman's virginity, then you have to marry her, or you have to pay for her worth. And then they did death to witches and having sex with beasts, and people do have the sex with animals. And back then, if you was found like that, they killed you. Exodus 23 says, you can't be circulating lies. You can't be doing wrong with others. You can't be helping other people to do wrong. You can't be killing your innocent and people just because you want to. You can't be taking bribes. You must treat the stranger with fairness. And there's certain yearly feasts God told him he wanted them to do: unleavened bread, the harvest, and the ingathering. The unleavened bread was to think about when you left Egypt, and the harvest was the first fruit, and gathering, it was the gathered fruit of your labor. how you brought everything together in your labor. And we say, oh, I can't be celebrating stuff like that, but we don't have to now. But um, we celebrate everything else. We celebrate New Year's and Valentine's and Mother's Days and Father's Day, and they got all these other days now. Secretary Days, Grandparents Day. We celebrate um, uh, Indigenous Day, which is a joke, but Indigenous Day, President Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas. We do all this stuff, but we can't celebrate God. And God wants a celebration of every day, not just now, but every day. God wants you to celebrate Him, live for Him, be His ambassador here on earth, represent Him. That's what God is looking for, but we can't. And I'm saying there's a lot of rules we're gonna go over real quickly like this, just to let you know God is expecting some character. He's always expected character. He's always expected. When he brought them people out, he didn't bring them out to be any kind of way. He brought them out to live a certain way. Like I said, I know we don't want to read stuff, but that's how we get caught up in situation when we don't read stuff and we say yes to it, but we don't read it. You have to read it so you know what you're saying yes to and what's being expected of you. Well, that's my time. Stay free.